Hey guys, and welcome to All the Mods 9 Progression Log 14. Sorry we didn't have one last week. I was sick with the flu for like a week and a half. I'm actually still a little bit stuffy, so if I start hacking and coughing, sorry. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I don't have as much stuff to show you this week either, unfortunately. Just the nature of being sick and stuff, and having a mad scramble because I missed classes for literally a week and a half, so you guys know how it is. So first off over here we have the SPS, or the supercritical phase shifter. It's not running right now because it looks like we're out of polonium. Um, that's weird. I wonder what. Every now and then this thing just kind of like turns off. Anyway. Okay, well it'll start running now in a little bit. But anyway, this thing is used to make antimatter. I have this reactor here is running at 225 millibuckets a tick. You know what? It was probably had something to do with like the server just restarted like an hour ago. I don't know. Anyway, not a problem. So this thing is obviously at 225, which means it's as fast as it gets without physically rebuilding the reactor. And I'm not really gonna do that anymore, because we have a fusion reactor actually set up, which is cool. Anyway, I do want to mention some stuff about this. Turns out all these like ports here I thought would be large enough for the max burn rate was actually not. It can only go up to 184 millibuckets a tick. So I just threw a quantum entangler here. These ports don't normally push, but when you have an entangler porter, they push to the entangler porter. Or maybe the entangler porter just extracts automatically because I don't know. Anyway, just throwing one there and some stuff here solved the problem. So we're all good, which is nice. So we do have a ton of overhead on this boiler. It's only boiling 4.5 million millibuckets a tick, but we can go up to 103. And that being said, though, like the heated coolant tank is pretty full, and the coolant tank itself is also a little bit full as well. I don't know why they're in there. It should be near instantaneous, but I also don't care, so it works. At max burn rate, we're up to 12.85 million RF per tick in this turbine. Man, we're using over half this turbine's capacity, which is kind of crazy. One thing I do want to mention is this turbine's running as well at 10.24, because that one is for the fusion reactor we have now. I was really worried at first about throughput rates because the fission reactor over here, so it produces the same amount of steam when water cooled. But the reason why throughput rate is a problem is because for every millibucket of steam it would produce if it were water cooled, it actually produces 10 millibuckets of superheated sodium. So I was kind of worried about throughput rate, right? Because that's a lot. It's a lot of fluid, obviously. And I was like, well, the fusion reactor doesn't have that much surface area, you know. Is it going to be a problem? And the answer is no, because this thing doesn't use the boiler. It just produces. You just pump it with water, and it just produces both power and steam. At this current burn rate, or the injection rate actually, I've set it to 24. It produces 1.2 million RF per tick and 3.6 million millibuckets of steam. So it produces both. And we have one entangler porter here for steam, and then that's over here. I know I was talking about going to be using integrated dynamics to pump steam from here into a P2P for turbines. However, integrated dynamics doesn't pump mechanism steam or just mechanism chemicals in general, because mechanism is its super little special boy. And IE doesn't see chemicals, unfortunately, or if it can, I couldn't figure out a way to do it. I do, however, use ID to just pump water into it, so that's not a problem. So we just use entangler porters for this. Each entangler porter can transport up to about 8 million millibuckets a tick or so. So it won't be a problem. Every 50 burn rate is about 8 million. So, and that's a full turbine anyway, ish. A little less than a full turbine, I think, is what the burn rate would be. So I'm not really too concerned anymore about that, especially because, you know, I'll just keep upping the burn rate, and once we cap out on an entangler porter / turbine, just throw another one on there for another turbine, and so on and so forth. Eventually, we are going to be removing a lot of these other things here, like the SPS once I have enough antimatter, boiler because this won't be used anymore, the fission reactor, and then we'll just place more and more turbines and then probably stack them if necessary. The single fusion turbine or the single fusion reactor can go up to 400 million RF per tick at max burn rate, and I think that is including water cooling. Or if it doesn't include water cooling, then with water cooling I think it's like 800 million. We can actually check the quests. Mechanism advanced. Oh, okay, so it's 200 million RF, and then I suppose it's 400 million if you use the turbines. So yeah, we'll be good on power, I think. I won't say it will be enough because I also said the fission reactor would be enough, and it wasn't. And you know, here we are. So, but I also won't say that it won't be enough. You know what I mean? It could be enough. We'll have to see. I really don't expect to be using more than 400 million RF per tick, even with how power hungry UV machines are. But you never know, right? You never know with Greg Tech. But even then, we've got more than enough room to throw down another one, and you know, we can just keep stacking turbines all the way up until we're done. That's the nice part about fusion, is it's a lot easier to scale, I think, at this point. Tritium and deuterium are pretty easy to get. Tritium just comes from a solar neutron activator with lithium. It's a 1-to-1, and a single activator can do like 25 or 30 a tick. Someone did the math, or did some testing actually in one of the videos. I have to go back and check. So it won't be too much of a problem. We're pretty good on fuel. I'll show you where we're actually setting up the fuel. But first off, over here, oh, this SPS by the way is now at 10 million RF per tick consumption. Like I talked about last video, we can. I was gonna use fusion to help supplement turning polonium into antimatter, because at max burn rate this still wasn't enough. It couldn't power the base and the SPS in order to turn on the polonium, so we still have a ton of pellets. 60,000 pellets, and you can't do anything with this. There's not really that much you can do with it, I should say. There's a lot of these other recipes and stuff, but they're basically just there's a few things you use them for, like QIO stuff, which is like Mechanism's version of Applied Energistics. So there's some fancy modules for the mecha suit, which I haven't built yet. No, actually I did build it, but I haven't used it. Some other things. Nothing particularly that we need a lot of, we don't need 60,000 of them for, but it was the only way to actually get rid of the polonium waste into like an item that can be stored en masse. So yeah, we actually have 24.29 million RF per tick power production right now, and right now we're only consuming about 5 million. That's because the SPS isn't running. I guess because, let's see, yeah, it's nighttime, so we can go ahead and just sleep, and it'll turn back on. At 10 million, even when at full burn, it will consume the polonium faster than it's produced, so we'll be fine that way. I assume we're gonna see some polonium soon. Yep, there it is. Anyway, so when that is running, it's like, 15 million RF per tick. We still do have all 10 miners. I moved them last night, so that's fine. So yeah, we're pretty good on power now, which is nice. I felt like I wasn't getting on a lot the last week, partially because I was sick and didn't really feel like playing. And the other parts is, like, power is sort of like the infrastructure you really want to spend a lot of time on, or at least a lot of resources on, so you don't have to like constantly rebuild it. And I was really annoyed that I had to, rebuild power again. But fusion actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Again, because I talked about, like, I was worried about throughput rates and stuff, and trying to figure out how to do that. And it's just fuel took me like less than an hour to set up. Just some electric pumps pumping water here. Right now we can do a burn rate of up to about 60 millibuckets. That's about how fast we bring in heavy water. So that we get up to 60 millibuckets a tick worth of deuterium. Tritium we get so much of because this is way faster than 1 millibucket than whatever the heavy water deuterium stuff. So this won't be a problem. And if necessary, each one of these things can be easily expanded to a full chunk, and I'm sure that'll be fine. We're good. It's easy to expand, which is nice. Won't take me more than an hour, I imagine, to set up a fuel processing line that'll just tide us over to the end of the pack. So we're good on power now. We won't have to really worry about any massive rebuilds at this point, I think, other than tearing down other unneeded structures and replacing them with more turbines. But that's less complexity and more just tedium. So that's good. I do want to talk about, actually no, here I'll come back to that. Let me go talk about the other thing that I did. The other major thing was we now have crystal processors. So we have the best tier of IV circuits, which means we have crystal LUV, crystal ZPM. We can make UV circuits. Oh, I have to. Where is NAND? I don't know. I'll fix that in a minute. We could make UV circuits. Let's see, mainframe. But this requires a research station to actually get the data orb for it, and then an assembly line. The assembly line counts as a clean room, so I don't have to stick that into a clean room, thank God. But it's gonna have to be some more stuff that I'll set up. It's not like too bad once you have like everything else set up, but the research station is gonna be a pain in the ass, I assume. I'm curious. It might not be too bad. It's just something else that I have to build that I haven't really gotten around to doing yet. But I do have 2 LUV autoclaves up here we're using liquid europium, because there are a bunch of ways to make raw crystal chips. You can do it, like you start off doing the bad way with just like a percent chance, and then you take those and you hammer them into pieces, and if you use the pieces you get a better chance. So you can use europium to get a guaranteed drop, or you can use like a cheaper fluid like mutagen or bacterial sludge to get like an 80% chance. But we need europium for other things anyway, so I felt like it really wasn't setting it up on another line just for, to be less efficient for crystal chips. Because you don't really need this much stuff anyway for the crystal chips, and because a lot of the overflow goes into like being turned into ingots and things, so we can make plates and wires and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty good. I have to throw a downgrade into that, but that's fine. I don't particularly care at the moment. Alright, so yeah, that was pretty much it in terms of like big progression things. We can go ahead and talk about our show, the playtime. 19.95 days. That's like 480-ish hours or so off the top of my head. I don't have a calculator on my desk right now, so I don't really feel like pulling on my phone. So, but it's around just under 500 hours. We're getting pretty close to the 500-hour mark, which is crazy. So we're getting pretty along there. We still have a lot of stuff to do for the ATM star, mostly magic things at this point. Or sorry, the Greg star. Evil Craft has been done. I didn't do this. A friend did this. She's been working on a lot of magic stuff. She has a spawner over here for blood, I guess. Oh yeah, spike plates. Markets. That's funny, actually. I never thought about that, using them as just mob spawners. Oh, wow, that's actually pretty ingenious. I haven't even looked at this build yet. It uses a block placer to place a market, which spawns a salesperson, and then breaks it after they're all dead, and then places it back again, so it spawns them again. That's pretty funny. Well, so blood is obviously no longer a problem. Yeah, so we're good over here. I'm glad magic is, someone else is doing magic. I hate magic. We still have to do botany and a lot of other things. So yeah, that'll be cool. Probably. I mean, we can automate Botania is pretty egregious when it comes to, no, you can't automate me. Thankfully, Threefold did some videos in his ATM 7 to the Sky run, where he used a lot of integrated dynamics. So we'll be delving into integrated dynamics for automating a lot of Botania stuff, I think. That should be fun in some form, whether it's type 1 fun or type 2 fun. Fun during the fact or fun after the fact, like, man, that sucked. Type 2 fun is, man, that sucked. Do you guys want to do it again? Anyway, that's, like I said, that's pretty much it. We don't really have that much stuff done for this week, again, because between being sick and then, like, a mad scramble with all the classes that I missed and stuff. Fortunately, I'm only taking 9 credits now. I was able to drop a class, didn't need it, which is nice. So, but I still have other things that I have to do. I still have my lab position that I'm working for, and Sorry. That's about it. So I did have some more. I have some more planning though for some more chunks. I'm not so sure about over here. I like this crater. I know it was man-made, but it looks really cool actually. I'll go over and show you. Um, it goes like pretty deep too. Like it breaks into like an underground cave. So I think this is really cool. So I kind of want to turn this into like a decorative feature at some point, but it's also like right in the center of where the path would go to continue expanding the base. So I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this. If I want to just, not have these districts here, skip them, move them somewhere else, and then have like a little bit of a nice little decorative area too, because it's not exactly centered on chunks, unfortunately. So most of it is like a 2 by 2, but it does spread into sort of like a 3 by 3, but without being centered on it. So that's gonna have to be something I think about. But there's plenty of other spaces to expand districts to. I'm thinking of expanding this way. Originally, I wasn't going to expand more that way, more east, I guess. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. Probably not. Anyway, I was thinking about not expanding this far because, I wanted to leave Syrai and his base over here some room to expand on his own. But he went to space, so he doesn't need this land anymore. So I'm gonna be using it. So we have room over here to expand pretty quickly. I will have to clear out a lot of areas though, which won't be too bad with the Era of Tools builder and void card. So we can expand. It still just takes some work, and I've got some areas planned, fortunately. So space to go is not a problem still, which is something I'd recommend to everyone when you build your base. Make sure that you don't build yourself into a corner, and then you always have somewhere to go. If you ever reach a point where you don't have somewhere to go, and you need to expand, you're gonna have a real bad time, to say the least. Um, all right, I think that's probably about it. Um, Alright guys, I hope you guys have had a good week. My week's been pretty mixed, I'm not gonna lie. Being sick sucks. Get your flu shots, I guess. That's all I can say. Um, well, I hope you guys have a good upcoming week. And I will see you all again next week.